Hello everyone and welcome to my All Soaps Update channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. Today on The Bold and the Beautiful, two relationships are on thin ice as Sheila begs Deacon not to shut her out, and Deke wonders why Remy doesn't want his name mentioned around Forrester Creations. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, Soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. As the episode began, Will and Elektra were at Forrester recapping Bill's visit to Luna, needlessly since Soaps.com recapped it yesterday. But even Will was tired of talking about Luna. Is there no weather for these kids to discuss? See any good movies lately? At Deke and Remy's bleak apartment, Forrester's new designer modeled some old man chic that he planned to wear on his first day of work. "Oh, by the way, it's better if you don't mention me at the office," Remy reminded his beau. Much. Remy admitted that something had happened in the past but wouldn't come out and say, "Well, if you must know, I created fake nudes of Elektra Forrester." Deke sweetly assured his honey, "You can tell me anything." But could Remy? Could he really? Apparently, Deke forgot how freaked he was to think Remy and Luna were friends. Imagine how he'd react to learning that his partner had terrorized his new work bestie. Anyway, rather than discuss the matter, Remy shooed Deke out the door, as if Hope's brother would be in trouble if he was late punching in. In prison, Luna delighted in how beat up she looked and promised her cellmate she wouldn't rat her out. She didn't either. When the prison doc showed up, Luna just cried that the women on the cell block hated her, and she needed to be freed for the sake of her pregnancy. Off Luna's checkup, the doctor phoned Will and suggested that he come speak with the mother-to-be in person. To ascertain what, exactly. Needless to say, Will did not tell the doc, "Look, no way am I baking a file in a cake for the psycho who raped me." At Il Giardino, Sheila bugged Deacon to try and get through this together and come home. "I really miss you, Daddy," she said. "And does that ever fail to creep us all out?" Deacon turned his wife down flat but still let her BS that, "The lying and the scheming stopped the day I got married to you." Except for all the lying and scheming that she's done since. Sheila insisted that she didn't mind Deacon seeing Taylor. She figured that it was a step toward bringing him home, despite the fact that she'd once killed the shrink and had shot most of her relatives. If only Ella weren't such a small town. At Taylor's office, she and Steffi rehashed the shrink's determination to move on from human Waffle Ridge. "Is there another man in your life?" Steffi asked when Mom said she intended to make the most of her life. As if that was the only way that Taylor could move on. Though the shrink told her daughter that she wasn't dating anyone, we all knew that she was getting closer to Deacon than seemed therapeutic. Sheila guessed as much too. She'd visited Taylor after her husband's last session, the doc revealed to him. As the episode neared its conclusion, Deacon expressed his surprise that Sheila had dropped in on Taylor. In turn, Taylor asked whether he thought he and his wife still had a future together. At Forrester Creations, Elektra encouraged Deke not to be nervous and was nice enough not to clock the sweater that he must have borrowed from somebody's grandpa. In no time, talk turned as it inevitably does to Luna. Finally, Will showed up to visit Luna, who described prison as awful as if anyone would expect it to be posh or pleasant. "I'm under so much stress," she cried, "and this can't be safe for our child." Will seemed either to be buying her nonsense or nauseous. It was hard to tell for sure which. The Bold and the Beautiful. October 22nd, 2025. Part 02. Extended version. The day began with a kind of nervous energy that clings to Los Angeles like heat on glass. Shimmering, suffocating, deceptive. Inside Forrester Creations, the hum of sewing machines and the scent of new fabric couldn't disguise the tension simmering in every corner. Even the models, usually fluttering around with practiced smiles, seemed subdued, whispering about the latest scandals swirling around the Spencers, Forresters, and the eternal orbit of chaos that followed them like perfume. Will Spencer sat in the Forrester break room, his hands clenched around a cup of coffee that had long gone cold. Across from him, Elektra Forrester perched on the edge of a chair, every movement as elegant as the lines of her latest collection, but her eyes were somewhere else, far beyond the glossy floors of the design house. They had been talking, or rather re-talking, about Luna for what felt like hours. Every word felt heavier than the last, as though they were building a wall of guilt and speculation between them. "I just don't understand," Electra murmured finally, twisting her bracelet. "After everything she's done, after everything she's caused, why is she still in your head?" Will exhaled, leaning back. "Because she's carrying my child, Electra. Whether I like it or not, that connection doesn't disappear. I wish it did. God, I wish it did." Electra's lips pressed together, the sharp edge of jealousy hidden behind poise. "She's using that baby. Everyone can see it." He didn't argue because she was right. And yet there was something else. Something deeper. Luna's fear when she'd spoken to him. The tremble in her hands. The way she'd whispered that she wasn't safe. What if she wasn't lying? Across town, in the dimly lit apartment that Deke Sharp shared with Remy, morning sunlight spilled across the cracked blinds and old hardwood floor, catching dust motes in its beam. Deke stood at the counter, buttoning a shirt that looked like it had lived through several decades of questionable fashion. "You sure this is the look you're going with?" he asked, raising an eyebrow at Remy, who was adjusting a too-tight turtleneck. "It's called understated chic," Remy replied, glancing at himself in the mirror. "Besides, I don't want to look like I'm trying too hard on my first day at Forrester." Deke chuckled. "Man, you're dating a Forrester's brother. That's already trying too hard." Remy shot him a look. "Yeah, about that. Maybe don't mention me around the office." Deke blinked. "Why not?" "It's just better if you don't," Remy said quickly, fiddling with his cuffs. "I had some issues there before." Deke tilted his head. "Issues like what?" Remy hesitated. His mouth opened then closed again. He wanted to tell Deke the truth, about the scandal, about the fake photos, about how he'd tried to ruin Electra Forrester's reputation when he thought she'd stolen his designs. But how do you confess something like that to the man you love, especially when he's just been hired by the same people you betrayed? "Just trust me," Remy said finally. "It's complicated." Deke frowned but nodded slowly. "All right. But for the record, you can tell me anything." Remy smiled weakly. "Yeah," he said under his breath. "Anything except the truth." He kissed Deke goodbye and watched him leave. The door shut softly, leaving the apartment too quiet, too still. For a long moment, Remy just stood there, staring at the reflection in the mirror, a reflection that seemed to know every lie